Okay, so
Is it recording now?
yeah, it's recording.
Okay.
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay.
You can always cut that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're telling me about Bolivia. So let's start with food.
Yeah. So Bolivia is a very diverse country.
Yeah.
It's landlocked.
Yeah.
But we have, in terms of ecosystems,
Mm-hmm.
very different, like different spaces. So we have the mountains, the high mountains, and then also the valleys, and also Amazon. Like we have part of the Amazon there. So we have a lot of variety of food, from fruits, vegetables, different types of chilies, very spicy foods,
Mm-hmm.
different types of fish that come from the river, not from the sea, but river fishes. Like also big kettle, so a lot of meat,
Yeah.
chicken and
Yeah.
stuff. Funny thing, we have a lot of potatoes, which is great. I know a lot of people love potatoes, and
Which ones?
all like there's thousands of different types
So
of
which one
potatoes.
which one is a favorite?
There's ones that are very little that when you cut them are purple inside.
Oh, I know those ones. They're
And they're
quite
so
sweet,
good.
right?
Yes, there's there's a sweet potato that is like that, but no, this is a very tiny.
Oh.
They're black outside, and when you cut them, they're purple inside, and they're so good. I really like them, and I know everybody in the world loves potatoes, and they all eat potatoes thanks to us. So
So which kind of food do you dream of? Like since you have been away for quite some time.
oh my
So-
god, so many things. A lot of food with corn.
God.
I really like corn, like different types of corn as well. And then sometimes llama meat.
What is llama meat?
Do you know llamas? Everybody likes llamas. These animals that look like alpacas.
So you're actually confusing me more.
Well, it's a type of a very adorable animal that many people love around the world, and they have sanctuaries for llamas, and it's an animal that is a family from the camel, but that lives in the high mountains and high altitude, and like most parts in Peru and also in Bolivia, some people also eat the meat, not only use it for like make
the skin?
wool,
The wool.
no, wool. Yes.
Interesting.
So sometimes it's a very weird craving, because also it's not something that I've eaten so many times, but sometimes
Yeah.
I think of it and I was like, oh, it would be nice.
That's nice. So Bolivia is in South America. So which are some of the countries that are in your neighborhood?
I always say Bolivia is kind of like the heart of
The
South
neighborhood.
America,
Yeah, okay.
because we are neighbors with many countries. So we're neighbors with Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, Peru, and Chile. So it's literally in the center of the continent, of the South continent. Yes.
That's beautiful. Have you ever traveled to outside Bolivia apart from Israel, like within South American countries?
Yes, to many places. To Argentina sometimes, also Chile, Peru. I've been once in Brazil also for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I've been in Colombia. And I would really like to go to other places too. Like get to know the entire continent would be great.
Do you guys share, like in South America, do you have like cultural stuff that you guys share?
I would say that yes. We were all part of the Spanish colony, except Brazil. Brazil was Portuguese. And then Guyana and Suriname and French Guyana, also those
Portuguese.
3 countries were actually Dutch, French, and also part of England. So I would say that those are the only 3 countries that weren't a Spanish colony. But also something that we also share is that some parts, the indigenous communities, like in the Amazon, like were shared between Brazil, Bolivia, very big communities, and then the Inca Empire also who live there. So I would say that even though we speak the same language, even though we would say that different accents is different, but we speak the same language, and then similar foods, I don't know, in Brazil, like we there's a bread that when you translate it in English is cheese bread.
Cheese bread.
That
But
is
it's
made
not
of
really cheese.
no, because it's made of tapioca flour,
Mm-hmm.
and they call it pão de queijo.
Okay.
And we
Pound
do the
chicken.
same thing in Bolivia, but we
Uh-huh.
call it cuñape.
Oh, but it's just the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Ah,
I think
see.
one has oil, the other one has milk. Like, it's not.
Same.
It's the same
Almost the
thing.
same.
Yes.
Because I think in like, for example, I'm from Kenya, and
Mhm.
Kenya we have like a neighborhood countries, Tanzania, Uganda, and we have Rwanda, and then we have Congo. We are kind of like a big neighborhood. But we see like Kenya, we kind of share our culture mostly with Tanzania.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Uganda, even though we are colonized by England, like British Empire, but Tanzania was not. It was colonized, I think, with Belgium, with several
Okay.
other countries. So they barely, like the national language, even though they were colonized by Belgium, they don't speak their language. They speak English,
Mhm.
Swahili, sorry, mostly. But Uganda and Kenya, they're like literally the same.
Okay.
So we both speak English, even though and in terms of food, like we share almost everything. Like in Uganda, their staple food is matoke, which is banana,
Yeah.
plantain.
Yeah.
And in Kenya, we have ugali, which is from corn or maize
Yeah.
flour.
Delicious. I love it.
Yeah, and Tanzania is produce almost everything. So
Okay.
like in terms of beans, in terms of maize, and you can't really tell the difference because maybe just because Uganda doesn't speak Swahili mostly.
Okay.
So Kenya and Tanzania are the ones who speak Swahili, and then some parts of Congo they also speak Swahili. But apart from that, we share almost everything. There's nothing that we don't share, and it's just nice to see different people from different countries, but you have something in common, which is just a beautiful thing to me. And that's what I was asking about South America, because also you guys have a lot of cultural things that you share among yourself, which is beautiful, right?
Yeah, we do, and also like something that is very interesting. Then maybe, something that, like maybe around after the independence of the country. So that
Mhm.
means the entire southern part of the continent.
Yeah.
Actually starting from Mexico, like everything that is known as Latin America.
Yeah.
Were independent at the first mid of the 19th century.
20th centuries, yeah.
And so I would say that the identity, like there was some, I would say like type of the philosophical thought that started coming from the region,
Yeah.
and the idea of like the construction of identity
Mm-hmm.
was always with this idea of Latin America, like we are Latin Americans. We're
Yeah.
not Hispanic Americans. We are not Americans.
Mm.
We're Latin Americans because we're coming from, like, we have, like, of course, the language root comes from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that in that same, like, political thought, I would say, or philosophical thought,
Mm-hmm.
somehow they also wanted to introduce the idea of like diversity, not only in terms of like the difference in countries, but also like the indigenous identities, people
Mhm.
who lived there before the colonization happened in
yeah.
Americas. So it's a very interesting idea, no? Like that also I mean, I think the world also understands that, no? When we
Mhm.
go outside
Yeah.
of our countries, especially to Europe, maybe even here, when you say like, oh, I'm from Bolivia, or I'm from Argentina, or I'm Colombian,
Mhm.
or whatever, say, oh, you're Latino,
Oh,
like
yes, yes.
there's like this stereotype that's like, oh, you're Latin American.
Yeah.
And somehow we kind of like identify with that, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a Latina, that's it, like,
That's okay, yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not something that we struggle with, no?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really don't know how people who come from indigenous communities would feel with the fact that someone says, "Ah, you're a Latino," if they also have other types of roots. But I really don't know.
Do you have, apart from speaking Spanish, do you have like other languages within the country?
Yes, many. I don't speak any, which is really sad.
Yeah.
But Bolivia I would say that is one of the countries that has more diversity in that sense.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, it's 36 languages
Wow.
that are spoken in the country, and that the government and our constitution
Mhm.
recognize as official languages.
Oh,
No,
that's beautiful.
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say like in my ancestors, because I think also maybe that's something that characterizes the Latin Americans, is that we really have a lot of mixture in our bloods. You know,
Yeah.
we have parts of indigenous, like
Mhm.
we have indigenous blood
Mhm.
that was mixed with Spanish blood, you know, like from the colonizers, but also when the countries were independent in the early years of the 20th century,
Mhm.
there was a big contingent of people moving from Europe to Latin America, and also people from Japan and other places of Asia moving to Latin America. So
Yeah.
there were Arab communities, there were Persian communities, there are Japanese communities, Indian communities, you know, like Polish, Italian, you know, and then they arrive to the same place. They're living in the same area,
Yeah.
and then you get mixed, no?
Yeah.
And so I would say that, I mean, even though I don't speak any of the languages, I have my grandparents used to speak Quechua. No, it was like one
Their
of
traditional language.
one of the national languages
Ah.
that we didn't learn. It got lost in time. Yeah.
It's interesting because I think in early 1600s or 1500s, those Arabs used to be very good traders
Yes.
those days, and they could move around the world. And like for example, the Swahili that we speak in both Kenya and Tanzania is just a product of Arab language with a local community.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of merge it together to produce Swahili. But apart from that, like we also have a lot of tons and tons of different languages.
Yeah.
For example, my mom, she's from one tribe called Kisii, and my
Okay.
dad is from another tribe called Luya. Even though I don't speak any, a little bit speak of Luya, but mostly I can understand when they speak, but my brothers, they do speak
Okay.
both. I don't know. I'm dumbest. Yeah, but it's just beautiful to see like different languages coming together and then produce something beautiful within like something beautiful that people can talk about it. And in Kenya, for example, we have Kiswahili,
Yeah.
like Swahili as a national language with
Yes.
English. So
Yes.
everyone else in school, we study Swahili as a language. So everyone has to know how to speak Swahili. At the same time, everyone has to know how to speak English.
No, and I think
Yeah.
like this is amazing to at least keep their roots, no, the cultural roots of and the identity of the country and the people who live in the country.
Yeah.
You know, like in Bolivia, it was you know, like the process of decolonization also that now is, I think it's very, very common, you know, like talking about like decolonizing our minds and get rid of all these thoughts that were left to us because of the colony, you know. It's like, oh, like one of the things that, for instance, that was really bad in Latin America in general, no, it was like this hate towards the indigenous communities, no,
Yeah.
and that even the same people, no, who were born and raised in these cultures started like maybe not feeling too comfortable with their roots. No?
Yeah.
And so it's like not teaching your language or your native language to your kids is like a way. It's like, oh no, you don't need to learn like our native languages, but if you learn Spanish, because with Spanish you will have more opportunities, no?
Yeah.
Or if you learn Spanish and English, you know, that it's
You'll
also
get more opportunities. Yeah.
you'll have more opportunities. But like something that has happening also in my country is that people are starting to notice the importance and how beautiful it is to actually keep with these roots, no? Like you keep with your roots, and now it's mandatory that people learn at least a little bit of this one of these many languages, depending on the region that you're living in.
Yeah.
No.
I think one of the things, like, you don't want your ancestral culture to disappear. You have to keep it, right? So because you can always go back and say, I'm Latino because of this and this. There's a trace of my culture from this place. And for me, it's like when you're advancing does not mean forget who you are or forget your traditions. And I think most of the people, they think like, if I forget my roots, if I forget about my culture, then I'm advancing or I'm developing or I'm having a better view than them. For me, it's just I look at it as like you preserve it, right? So you learn from it something that was good from those culture, you carry on with it, and those which are not good, you're like, okay, I don't want to follow this kind of culture, which is just interesting. One of the uh, one of the things that I see in Kenya, for example, there's this tribe, they're from northeastern part of Kenya, if I'm not wrong, like Masai, Pokomo, this kind of stuff. They're, even though they carry on their culture, but one of the things that I don't like about their culture is like early marriage for young girls. And also I was watching a clip from Somalia, a kid of 9 years or something, they're kind of forcing them to get married to this like older elderly guy. Even though the government in Somalia tried to ban it, right? But still, people, they're like, oh, this is our tradition, this is our culture, this is the way we do things. This, even though it's not a benefit to the society, and those kind of things for me is like, okay, where do you draw the line, right? So where do you say, okay, I don't want to follow this kind of things, I want to follow this kind of things, but not this one, you know?
Yeah, I think that line can be very, very thin.
Yeah.
No, and yeah, like having there's always like bad practices in every type of culture, in every culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we cannot say that the Western culture is really good when there's also really bad practices, and I think we need to be smart enough to recognize that there are things that are no longer acceptable in this century or in the moment of history that we're in right now.
Yeah.
No, like it is not acceptable that a child, like a 9-year-old child, gets married.
Yeah.
Either if it's a boy or a girl. Like I think it's like
either way, right? So,
yeah. It's not. I think it's not morally correct. You know, I don't think it's right that, I don't know, people gather together or two communities gather together and that they decide to have one day out of the year. That's something that happens in my country sometimes. They gather together once a year to fight, you know?
Yeah.
And they take all their rage out. And if someone dies, they die, but it's not a crime, no? It's like it was the day that you are able to through all the rage you have, and then after that it's like, oh, then you can be at peace for the rest of the year, you know? And this is, even though for some people they say like, oh yeah, this is the right thing to do, so we are not fighting every single day of the year. No, we have one day where we can just get rid of everything that we're feeling. But it's not a healthy practice, no? For any community. No, it's not healthy for men to experience that, for women to experience that, for children to experience that. And we just have to develop a deep consciousness, I would say. Because we cannot say that these people are uneducated, no? Or say that their practices are wrong just because we think, oh, this is terrible if they're doing it. It's just something that is part of the culture. But we need to understand that, yeah, these practices are probably were okay at a certain point in time, and that it's time or it's necessary maybe to find other ways to, you know, like maybe get rid of the rage that they're feeling without needing to really create such a harsh environment, no, for people to be in.
There's so many other ways to settle dispute, right? So if you don't want to settle dispute in courts, then you have elders who can come and sit down and you settle the disputes. If you don't want to do that, there's consultation between you two guys and say, okay, you did wrong to me this way, and this is what I feel. And it just needs people to be ready to see, like, okay, for me, human life is more important than grudges, right? Because one thing about grudges is like, okay, this year we fought, you won against me.
Yeah.
What am I going to do the next year? I'm going to work hard so hard so that if we meet again, I'm going to smash you. And then you do the same, right? So the rest of our life, you just be like, okay, last time you won, I'm going to win next time. So it's not going to end.
Yeah.
And even though it sounds, and that's the difference. There's some things which are culturally, they're correct, but morally they're not, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
You have just to view which ones are better and which ones are not. I also want to talk about women, since you're the first lady to do the podcast. Yeah. So I just want to see, like, what have you seen, or what do you think the progression of women has been for the last 20 years in terms of education, in terms of rights, in terms of work, in terms of decision making in a family kind of setting, and where do you think we should be moving forward in terms of that?
Okay. So I strongly believe, this
Yeah.
is the first thing,
Yeah.
that women and men are equally
Yeah.
by creation and by rights, and we are equal, you know? Like,
Mhm.
I am a strong defendant of equality between women and men.
I didn't know that.
I really am. And I
so
think
it's something that we would like to talk about.
I really like to talk about it, but
Okay.
also I like to reflect about it, no?
Mhm,
Because there's many discourses in the world about what the role of women should be, what the role of men should be,
Yeah.
that men should do this, that women shouldn't do this, in relationships, in politics, etc.
Mhm.
And I think that it's very important
Mhm.
that there are also these conversations, even though for some people it might be like they think that it's wrong and it's like a crazy thing that there are radical women who are fighting for women's rights and things like that. Like, I'm gonna say radical in parentheses because I really don't think that sometimes they're not radical.
Okay. Okay.
But you know, these types of conversations are important and they need to happen in order to or for the world and for societies and communities to achieve equality, real equality.
Yeah.
No? And
Yeah.
so hard conversations need to happen. I really think that need hard conversations and also a lot of changes in like systemic changes, no?
Okay.
And structural changes.
Mhm.
And it is important for us to start recognizing the importance of women in society.
Okay.
How important it is that they are educated. No, how important it is that they have equal payment. You know, like when equal salary, not just because they're women they can have less, or in the family in the decision making. No, like it's if the mother, we're talking about a family, let's say,
Yeah.
mother, father, and like a how do you like a stereotypical family, no, like mom, dad, and kids.
Yeah.
No, like the mother and the father are the union that has to take care of the kids. No,
Yeah.
if only one can take and make decisions, then there's a big imbalance. No, there can be a really big imbalance, and that imbalance will impact the kids and will impact the family.
Yeah.
So it is important that in that sense also people see each other as equal, no?
Mhm.
And it's a matter of principle. It's not like, oh, we're equal because I don't know what people say these days about like equality, but it's just the fact that both are human beings.
Mhm.
Both are created for the same purpose.
Yeah.
Both are in this earth for the same purpose. And yeah, like they deserve to have a just life.
Yeah. So people have very different opinions. So I'll tell a story about what I've heard. So one of the things that over the last few years, I think it started in 1960s in US, where when there was war in Vietnam, a lot of men were taken out of society to go and fight the war. And then there was a lot of industries which needed manpower, needed people to work on those industry. And before 1950s or something, women, there used to be house women, right? So
Yeah.
you stay home, take care of the kids, your husband is the one provides 24/7. And what happened is that during that war, there was war for 2 years or something. It was very long, and the society was collapsing. So they needed people to come up and take the jobs. And that's when women step up and they started working on these industrial places, and they started getting pay, which was something new to them. Like, now you're getting being paid, you can buy whatever you want, you can manage whatever you want. And then later on, when the war ended, all the men came back who survived. And you find that they started pushing women out of those jobs. And that one created commotion. It's like, why don't you work together? Why are you pushing us? And the idea during those days was like, okay, women should play their role as mother and should be taking care of family in terms of cooking, washing, and other responsibilities, and men should be providers should provide to the families. But then now we're moving forward in early 1900s, 1990s. So when now this, because 1960s also there's this lady who started feminism, which was championing for it at that day. It's like women need this, that we need our rights, and there was a lot of progress. And then when we reached 1990s, now there was that talk of, okay, I work, you share, this kind of stuff. And then later on it evolved like, okay, now we have equal responsibilities in a family. Now we are pushing to 2025 now. So 2025 we find like, okay, so because of that, now people are blaming on feminism. What are they blaming on? So they're like, okay, for example, in developing countries or Western world, they're saying, okay, so people are not getting married, there's no children, women don't want to play their role as women, men don't want to provide their role as providers. So it has created this kind of, okay, there's no familyhood, there's more of like people just thinking about work, no one wants to have family. So for me, I'm like, okay, where did we go wrong? So what was this supposed to look like, right? So so for example, if women were given the equal right as men, what was the effect? And if they were denied, we could see the effect, because that could be visual until 1960s, where some of them were mistreated. It wasn't a good thing that to talk about. So I always think about it. I'm like, okay, in 2020, what really changed?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. I have a few things in my mind while you were talking that I was thinking about.
Okay.
One thing is things I am thinking right now is that there is a structure of society that we are used to. No?
Yeah.
And when you are used to something for so long and something comes and cuts that by half or breaks it, or let's say you're living in this flat, no? Like you're happy. But then there's an earthquake. And boom, 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 boom. The floor is shaking. And then, okay, but the fact is that I'm obliged to stay and live here. No, like, okay, this is the thing. So the floor shakes. Then the door is broken. The windows are broken. And I don't know, the shelf goes to the floor or something. But I still have to live here. I will feel absolutely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be happy to come into my home and be like, I know this is a very, very silly example, you know?
No, but it has a meaning. So you always have trauma.
Yeah. It's a very silly example, because what feminism is trying to do, it's actually shake the foundation of the societal structure where women have been seen, in which like women have been seen as less than men. And of course people are not gonna feel comfortable with that, no?
Of course, yeah.
Like someone who's been raised in a family maybe where they've seen that the dad was abusive to the mother, you know, like was violent against her, and the mother never, like, because of her situation, she was never able to leave, because if she leaves, where are the kids gonna be? You know, like she doesn't work, she doesn't have any other space to go, so she stays.
Okay.
And then when they grow, maybe the son, I'm not saying all the time, but it happens, maybe the son has the same attitudes the father had, no? But what if like the woman who is like the wife of the son stands up and says like, you know what, I'm not gonna handle it, like I'm not doing this, I'm leaving, bye. It's shaking. No, it's shaking. You are breaking the idea of feminism, and not only the feminism, because I think it goes beyond just the fact of just the philosophical thought of feminism. It's like going way more deep, and it's a matter of principle. But the idea was to shake the foundations of a society where there has been inequality, and of course, like the consequences of that, of maybe women not wanting to have kids, or maybe people not wanting to get married. There's discourses that men are all violent and are terrible, or the discourses that, oh, women are I don't know, like the things that people are now saying are because this floor has shaken.
Yeah.
But people, instead of taking down the entire building and rebuild, they're trying to live in a broken building. But this is just my own thought. I don't want to give this to anyone. I don't want to this is something that I believe, and I think that there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do in Western society, because this happens mostly in Europe and in societies that probably are more economically stable. No.
Yeah.
There are other places where the inequality that exists is terrible. No, like the fact, for instance, that I don't know, even in developed countries, no, like China, that it's a country that has so much money and economically that's so like the first economy in the world, but that at some point they had to put like a policy to only have one child.
Yeah, cap. Yeah, they had to put a cap. Yeah.
And that the percentage and the average of abortions of women who knew that, like the women who aborted when they knew that they were having a girl, no, was so high. No, because in society the idea is, oh, if it's a man, then it's a good thing. No, or also in some parts in India, like when they know that, like in India now, it's forbidden for women to know the gender, because sometimes when they know that it's a girl, they
kill them.
They finish their the pregnancy. No, in other places, like in Latin America, for instance, like violence against women is so, like, it's just insane. Like knowing that 7 or 8 women out of 10 suffer or have suffered some type of violence in their life. And this is not right. No, like we cannot say like, oh, it's cultural. Or, like, for instance, now what's happening in Afghanistan, no, women who are not even able to show their faces, they're not able to go to school, they're not able to study, they're not able. So what it's this showing is that society itself, like these societies that are very different cultural backgrounds, different cultural beliefs, etc. These societies, I would say, even in Latin America and many countries, I would say in many parts of the world, the idea that women are equal than men is not existent. No? And there's like the idea that even women are not humans, no? Because they're treated like that. No? The levels of violence that can be implemented towards them. No? Like also, and there are terrible things that happen in the world, and women are victims of that, no? Like using rape as a weapon of war. It's something that has been recognized by the international community in the 90s, no? Because it was something that was happening.
It's
still happening. It happens all the time, and at least it's recognized as a crime now. No, before it wasn't. So yeah, I think the world is learning. We're in the first years of the 21st century. There's a lot of things that we are still trying to figure it out, and as humanity, I don't think we will too soon, no, because it's changing structures and that takes time.
I mean, when things are breaking, just as you said, like when things are breaking down, there's a lot of things that come up also, right? So in order to have a better life, or in order to have a new way of thinking, the old way of thinking has to go. And in the process of going, there's also casualties. There's a lot of things that happen in that process. And just for me, I always think like we should treat all human beings with the same dignity. It doesn't matter if he's a woman or a man. The talk that people talk about, like for example, okay, let's say we are 50, we all want the same equality, right? But the thought of equality, the way they look at it, is not the same in terms of like how people want it to look like. One of the things that I'll say, people will say, oh, you say you are equal, but we are not. But my point is always like, for example, if you remove the physical appearance and all this kind of stuff, that's still a human being, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's give them the same equal right as you. So despite the appearance, despite the way all this limitation that we have as maybe that women have, doesn't make them lesser human than you. You know. Uh, the other thing that I want to get your thought on it. So, when people talk about equality in terms of marriage, one of the discussion. I'm from Africa. One of the things that we have in mind is that yes, we're equal, but people have to play their role. So if he's a woman, she has to cook, she has to wash. If he's a man, she has to do this kind of stuff. What's your thought on that one?
Well, I actually don't believe in it.
Okay.
Don't believe in it at all. I'm married.
Yeah.
And I would say that, I mean, some things, when you're in a marriage, things happen, no? Like you live in a place with your partner, you're living under the same roof. There are responsibilities, no? But I work, my husband works, and we also assume the same responsibilities here at home. And I even would say my husband takes more responsibilities than me, for sure. You know, like I cook every day. I don't mind. He likes my cooking also, so that's good. But you know, he does the laundry. Even though we have washing machine here, but he does the laundry most of the time. I would say all the time. He washes the dishes every day. You know, he vacuums the floors all the time. He cleans the bathrooms. You know, like these things. Like what I do is he arrives with the laundry done. I fold it. You know, like we do groceries together, but he carries the groceries. You know, he picks me up but these are conversations also that we had. No, like when we were starting to live together, we were like, okay, so what do we do? You know, how is this equality looking for us? And maybe in the future will change. No, maybe right now we don't have children or anything, but maybe in the future we will have kids, and maybe I will need to stay at home, and maybe he will have to be the one who like working full time, because I'll be working full time as a mom. But maybe, you know, when my kids are 8, maybe he wants to take a break of working. He wants to take care of the kids. And then I'm the one who's going to go and work maybe full time, you know? So I cannot say that I know the right equation on how a good marriage should look like or how equality looks like. Yeah. Especially in marriage. Everyone finds what works for them. No, as long as respect and love stay there, you know, like stays as a foundation of the relationship. Things work out, you know, and I really appreciate that also. Maybe my husband is flexible to do these things, you know, and I don't have to feel the pressure of I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to do this, you know.
Well, every time you're home, like
yes.
It's me.
Yes.
It's me again. You know, one of my friend, you're sharing, he's telling me, so his dad, so is like a typical dad, African typical dad. He says that his dad, even just to turn on the light is a problem. So like the guy comes, maybe he comes from work, he goes, he sits in a chair, he has his specific chair. So he sits there.
Yeah. And
when the darkness comes, the guy cannot even turn on the light. It's like he will not turn on the light. He will not even go to kitchen to cook. He'll stay there hungry until his wife is home. So he was telling me that his dad is like that. Is until his mom is home, the dad will not even raise his hand going to kitchen looking for food. He'll just stay there in the corner. He's like capitated or something. Can't even do anything by himself. And then I'm like, okay, now we have this kind of new mindset where now people are like, okay, we don't need to sign responsibility in the house. Just like we have to think, okay, if one is washing, naturally I need to do something else in the house. If one is cooking, you don't expect him also to wash the dishes unless if you want to, or like naturally you don't create the roles that is rigid. Because for me, I always think if you create roles, then it becomes a problem in future.
Yeah.
If you think I'm only washing dishes, so if he's cooking and my wife is sick, who's gonna cook? Because we just say she has to cook or she has to do this kind of stuff.
Yes, that's true.
It's just new way of people thinking about it, and it's just beautiful the way you're explaining between you and the husband how you do your things. So yesterday I was talking to this lady. Um, she's relative young, and she was telling me she's scared of getting married, and I was like, why are you scared of getting married? She's like, oh, I'm scared because she has seen a lot of her friends whose marriages have failed, and she was telling me that what they tell her most of the time is like the person that they married the first day is not the same person that by the time they're divorcing is not the same person.
Yeah.
And she was like, she's really scared about that. She's like, I don't know, you can get married, maybe someone is pretending to be a person who is not. So how are you gonna go about this? And I was just looking at her, I'm like, how am I gonna explain? How am I gonna give you an answer?
Yeah.
Because you can't really open up a human being and say, okay, I want to find the true yourself or
Yeah.
something like that. So I was talking to her yesterday, and I was like, how do you come to know like if someone is the right person to you or this kind of stuff? Is there a right person? That's another question. Is like, how do you tell if someone is right?
Yeah, like that's hard to know. No, like
sure,
that's
yeah.
hard to know for sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's a matter of luck either. But I think we humans we tend to have an ideal, in our minds of who, the princess kind of thing, oh, it's gonna come and rescue me, and the prince is gonna give me everything I want. And I'm not gonna lie, I was also part of that group. Like when I was 18, 19, I thought that my Prince Charming was gonna come and save me, it happens, I think. And then also, social media now, the access to so much information, so much content, so many people talking about therapy, so many people talking about healing, so many people talking about trauma, so many people talking about narcissism, and like all these traits, that you see, like all these things that you can see and notice to see how your couple, like if your partner is like that, if your partner is not this way, like, oh, your perfect partner should be like this, the perfect husband should be like that, and that comes into your psyche, and you start thinking, and you start seeing like, oh, like my friends are not getting, like my friends' marriages are failing, so that means that the problem's either her or the husband, or probably both. And sometimes we get to have false expectations.
True.
On what is it that we want in a relationship.
True.
So it's like, oh, at the beginning he used to buy me flowers, and now he doesn't, so he doesn't love me anymore, and it's not the same. And the thing is that we as humans, even though we have perhaps similar like personality traits that are not going to change, we do change.
We do.
And
we
have to
evolve,
be,
yeah.
we evolve, and sometimes we don't evolve. Like we get maybe habits that are maybe not good for us. Like, but that's okay. The thing is that we are just, expecting too much, and then it's very hard also for us to see change. No. Maybe also like they live for so long, so much time together, and then they feel like the sparkle is gone, or whatever they say that happens, and it's because we don't like to see change.
We fear change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am pretty sure that, like, in my case, I think in my marriage, like, I will change. My husband will change. But one of the things that I've been thinking a lot lately, because people have asked me also, like, how was the relationship started? And the first thing is that we were very good friends, and we are very good friends. No? Like, that's the base for everything for us. Well, love is the base, and respect, the love and respect that we have for each other, but also the friendship, no? Which means that we, like, if it's your bestie, like my husband's my bestie, so that means that I am gonna be honest with him about things, you know.
Which
And
sometimes is very bitter things.
it's exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very bitter, and sometimes maybe because it's the first time we're living together, he does something that for me is so new and I don't like it and it makes me feel angry. Probably I am gonna tell him, you know, like, and he's gonna tell me because I'm his best friend, you know. And so we have the respect, the love, we have the honesty, but also we're generous to each other, you know. And not necessarily all because I give you gifts or I give you that. And it's like, no, like, I'm here. If you need me, I'm here, you know? In any way, emotional, like, you're available. So when someone asks me what would be the advice for someone, like, who is looking forward to maybe get married, or what should they do when they're trying to find the right person, you have to be very genuine. No?
Yeah.
Very genuine and have pure intentions. In a sense that it's like you are not going to know whether the person that you're going to marry is the person you're going to marry. But you are getting to know them because you genuinely like them. You know? You
Yeah.
think that they're cool. And
Yeah.
you think that if they weren't your partner, you would still like them. And you would still love them. And you would still think that they're amazing. And you would be happy for them. You know?
Yeah. I think she also brought up something which I was just thinking as you were talking. She also said, like, so what happens, like she was saying, for example, people date for a long period of time, and then when they get married, they just divorce after maybe 1 year or so. And she was asking me why, if they've been knowing each other for all those years, how comes after just 1 year or 2 years they get divorced? And for me, I think I'll tell you first what I told her.
Okay.
My thinking is this, is when you're dating, there's some things here and there you really don't know about someone, because all of what you both of you try to do is just to show the best part of you. You never show the ugly side of you. All of us, we have it,
We do.
and it comes out all the time. And when you get married, it's something different. That's a person that you stay with day in, day out. You are mad, you are not mad, you're always there. And because of that, we tend to show our true self. We tend to show the ugly side of us. And since we have never seen it before, we have been married for 3 years or so, not married, I've been dating for 3 years or so, and you have never seen the ugly side of me. And then when you get married, and then something happened, and then you see the ugly side of me, and then you're like, oh, this is not the person that I've been dating. It's not that. It's just that during the course of dating, both of us, we have been trying to show the best side.
Yeah.
So it's like the good side of you have never shown the ugly side of you. And then the moment you show it, someone's like, I cannot stand this. Like, this is too much for me. And then
Yeah.
you leave. So my advice for me was like, as you said, I told her, I was like, you have just to get married to your best friend. Have someone that is your good friend, that if everything breaks and everything goes to zero, you go back to the basics, which is
Yeah.
just friends. And that one helps a lot, you know?
It helps a lot.
So,
It does.
because if you don't have that foundation of basic friends, and you guys, because one of the things that sometimes we have lust, sometimes we have, say, crushes, sometimes we have this kind of stuff for people, and then we don't build the main the main foundation, which is friendship.
Yeah.
We just shoot directly to, love and all this kind of stuff. And then, because the only thing that doesn't fade is love of God, right? That one is
Yeah.
always permanent.
Yeah.
But human affairs, it fades.
Yeah, it does.
You won't say like you guys you love each other forever. At one point is break down, right? But if you break and you go back to your foundation and you find your foundation in friendship, it's easy to build back again.
Yeah.
But if you break and there's no foundation, you guys gone.
Yeah.
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 I think that's my thought.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And also, I will add that once you're married, also the affairs of the families can affect as well.
They
You know?
do. Mhm.
that's why I always also give the advice of having a good relationship with your family-in-law, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and love them and be loving to them, and try to have a good relationship, because that also is important. It's important. And I know that, for instance, there's some marriages that have been dissolved because,
Families.
because
Mm.
maybe the in-laws don't get along with the spouse, or you
Your
don't get along, or
father-in-law,
you don't get
yeah.
along with your in-laws, or something
Yeah.
happens, and then like the drama that we humans
happen.
usually do, exactly,
It will
that
happen.
we're used to. So yeah, it's important. That's also very important, I would say. No, like,
Yes.
like, put the effort also to build a relationship with the family, with your in-laws. But besides that, what you said about, like, showing your true self, it's true. No, like, it's very important to
It's true.
show who you are.
It's
And
difficult, right? Sometimes it's
course.
like, if you cannot take a negative side of someone, it's better to say, okay, you are really a nice person. This is where I am, but I cannot take this, right? But the question is always, for me, is always like, we always think of the person that we want. Like, I want this kind of person. My question is always like, what about you? Are you making yourself that kind of person that someone will say, I really want that person?
yeah. Yeah.
Because we always do the other way around. It's like, what we want. It's not always like, what about you, right? So you say, I want someone is kind, I want person is this, I want person is this. But all these spiritual qualities, kindness, and all this kind of stuff, are things that can be acquired as you go, right?
Yeah.
But you yourself, there's some things that is just you. And if you cannot show your true self to someone, and that person cannot show their true self to you, and you guys kind of just try to show your level best, even though that's what we are trying to do every day, you have to be better, right? But we always fall back. It's just that disintegration that happens in human life. Like, you go, you are good, praying. It's like being religious. It's not a smooth path.
Yeah.
You pray every day, you do this, and then it's somewhere you just break, you go back, and then you have to start again. And sometimes, yes, you break, you go back, you start again, and then you come back stronger. But sometimes you break, you come back, and then it's hard to go back. The same thing with marriages, and the same thing with friendship, for me. Yeah.
No, definitely. And if you're trying to find a partner to share the rest of your life with, it's important to be conscious about this. No?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
important to be conscious that with the fact that, one, we're not perfect, they're not perfect. We're going to go through moments, probably different stages, where probably I am feeling at my best and my husband's not feeling at his best. And there are moments where I am feeling at my lowest and my husband feeling at his best. It doesn't mean that because of that I have some type of, like, create some type of resentment. Like, there are a lot of things, that we really need to be very conscious about. And again, having good conversations about how things are, and accept, and I've been thinking now that you are...
Sorry, you want some water?
No, I'm good. Do you want?
No, I was just... Because you had...
It's because I'm talking too fast.
Okay.
But one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I've been talking also to my husband a lot, about, like, the idea of unconditional love, like this love that exists, because love as a principle, as a virtue, is endless.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
It's actually has the capacity to shine the darkest place. No, that, like...
Yeah. Someone said, where there's love, there's nothing.
Yeah, there's not too much trouble, no?
Exactly. So.
And so for me, this idea, when it came into my mind, it wasn't just about my partner. Like, it wasn't just about how can I love unconditionally to my husband, but also how can I love unconditionally to humanity, If it's like a virtue that can always grow, and when you plant a seed in your heart, it can just grow and grow, and you can give more and more and more. And that means acceptance.
Yes.
No? Acceptance of the people and the person as a full, as a completely, as a whole, you know, with everything that they're coming with. It's not like, oh, I just love that you are like these good parts of you and these other parts of you. I just don't like them, I don't love them, I don't accept them, and I prefer if you don't show it to me. You know, it's like, no, I accept everything that you have. Everything that you have, everything that you carry, everything that you think, I love it and I accept it, you know?
I always think for me is like, for example, me and my wife, if we got married, she was asking me. Sometimes I share is a weird thing anyway. So one of the things that we talked about was like, no matter what happens, no one should ever, like, we should not ever mention the word divorce.
Yes.
And I was just thinking like, why is she saying that? She was like, because in marriages there's this dark moments, and one of the thing, like, if you're newly married, you know it the first 1 year. It's like there's a lot of ups and downs in the first 1 year, because both of you are trying to be like, okay, I want to know this person, I want to understand this person. At the same time, it's like also you have your own faults, and the other person is just saying the same thing, you know. And one of the stupid things that people usually fight of, people normally think that in marriages people fight because of big things. No, very stupid stuff. For example, a brush. Why are you putting your brush on the door? It's like, your shoes. Why are you doing this? It's just small stuff, and this kind of stuff can spark a big disagreement. And if you're not friends, you don't have all this kind of stuff, you just you just carry it in your chest, and then one day you'll just blast. And if someone asks you what happened, you start recalling something that happened 20 years ago when you were just getting married until now, because you don't talk, right? So you guys are not friends, so you're not sharing, you're not explaining to your partner things that maybe you don't like, and he's not explaining to you things that you don't like about you. And me and my wife, one of the questions that we usually ask, I try to ask every 3 months, is like, what so far, what do you think about your marriage, and where do you think you failed? And if you did something good, you should tell ourselves, keep it up, you know. And if you did something wrong, we say, okay, so this was wrong, I didn't like about this, so what is the way forward, right? And for me, for example, when I got married, I never went into a marriage with expectations, because expectations kills everything. When you expect, because for example, if you go to expectation, it's like, I'm expecting the other person to be this because this is what I saw before, and then this person becomes opposite, you'll still be sad in that marriage because your expectations are not being reached, right? But if you're going, okay, I'm going to get married, and day by day I'm accepting to learn more about ourselves, no matter what comes in. And if these are challenges, I'm not expecting, but I want to learn. We want to learn together, so that if there's a big challenge, we both can sit down and say, okay, I don't like the way you talk to me, your tone is a little bit higher, right?
Yeah.
Is there a way? Why do you shout? I don't like shouting. Small stuff. And then the person will explain to you what made him or what triggered him to shout, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think if someone just wakes up one day and shouts at you, there must be something that triggers that. So for me, I'm always like, don't go with the expectation. Expectation will kill everything.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so that's been always my thought.
Yeah, for me also is, you know, and this, I always say, okay, marriage is a unity of love, no? And it's it's a fortress for well-being, but at the same time, it's a contract.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
And you need to negotiate. You need to negotiate the terms, you know, and be flexible about certain things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, having conversations about things that you expect, you don't expect, having conversations about the things that you like, you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But also be open, no? Be open to receive probably not the best feedback. You know?
Oh, that one hurts. But yeah.
I know it does. It does. It always hurts. It always hurts. We don't like to like, personally, I don't like to say it. I don't like to receive it. You know?
Yeah.
But it's necessary. It's necessary if you're in it together, you know?
If you're learning, right? So if you're taking it as we want to be better, we want to improve our friendship, we want to improve our marriage, you have to take it as a learning. If you take it as a negative comment, then it destroys you, basically.
Yeah.
you'll be like, okay, this person hates me, and the first time he told me he loves me, today is hating me, because you're not taking a criticism as a learning. You're taking it as a point of, this person is hating me.
Yeah.
Why is he doing this? And for me, it's like, this kind of stuff, you have to have a mindset of, and it's just not you. Both of you have to be in the same page. Like, okay, we are learning.
Yeah.
And if there's something good, and that's why I said, not just something bad. Okay, so this, let's say 1 year, anniversary, 1 year or something, or 6 months, whatever you guys want to do it. Like, so what are some of the learning that you have gone through?
Yeah.
So what are some improvement that you have gone through? And if you have improvement, you guys should tell yourself, clap you for yourself,
Yes.
So when something good happens, say you have done something good, celebrate. It's like,
Yeah.
last time when we were talking, I was very gloomy, I was blah blah, but this
Yeah.
time we've really improved. Tell each other that way, not just the negative parts, right? So not just the bad parts that you have seen on someone.
Yeah.
Someone doing something good, tell them, you've really done well, and these are your flowers, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I view it that way. And I tell my wife all the time, like, oh, for the last few months, you have done really well. She'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, for the last 1 month, you are really bad, but this time you've really improved, This kind of stuff creates a good environment. And because you're making a family, it's not just two of you. If God bless you and you have a kid, you want a kid to learn good
Yeah, of course.
things, right? So, but it will start with you, because kids watch, and when they watch, even though they don't speak, but they just watch, they can tell what's going on.
Yeah.
And if every time you guys do good things and compliment each other, it's like, oh, you've done really well this time.
Yeah.
The kid will be like, okay, when this kid will be growing up, my mom, if something happened good, she always tells dad he has done something good. My dad always tells mom he has something good. And then you bring it to the kid. If the kid is growing up, the kid has something, done something good, like, oh, that's really good, right?
Yeah.
So I view it that way, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it's also learning how to agree to disagree.
As you said, it's a contract.
Yes, it's a contract. Like really, there's going to be things that you consciously know that are not going to be able to be fixed in a month. It's
Or maybe
something-
never.
Never.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's about being conscious also about that. I mean, like, okay, you know what? Like, maybe we can try to do certain things to maybe like make it easier for both of us to navigate. And it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing.
No.
Like, it's just these things come to the surface sometimes. And
It has to.
and there's nothing you can do about it. No.
I think there's a Christian way I always say, God help me to accept things that I cannot
accept.
change, right?
Yeah.
And give me energy or power or wisdom.
Patience, I think.
Yeah, to
It's
change.
for
Yeah,
AA.
to change things that I can, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, for me, I always go back. Is like, if God is at the center of your marriages,
Yeah.
it's easy to be conscious, right? So every time you're doing something, like, okay, there's a quote that really talks about this. What does it say? It's like, if you learn how to agree to disagree at some point, is that you accept things that you cannot change,
Yeah.
that you can't, and just accept it, right? Because Collins is one of my best friends.
Mm.
He used to tell me a story. He used to say that if you have a kid, that kid is a separate human. What you do to that kid is only you are giving a guidance, and whatever that kid makes the decision, it makes the decision as, like, the kid makes a decision as him or her, despite whatever guidance that you give them, right?
Yeah.
So you can never change them. What you can only hope is that the guidance and whatever you offer to them can help them to make a better decision, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing in marriages. There's some things which you cannot change on someone, right?
Yeah.
And the only thing you can do is, like, I can only offer my way of thoughts, and we can talk about it. And if this way of my thinking or the way I want things to be done cannot change you the way I want to change it, and the point of marriage is not changing someone, right?
No, it's not.
The point of marriage is just to understand each other and make something better, right? So if there's some things that you cannot change, I always say, just ask God to give you that power and accept as, like, okay, this guy is a stone. My wife is a stone. I cannot change her, but there's some things which is very good on her, right? Because all of us, we have, let's say, 10 points. Maybe 2 are not good. Oh, you're not divorce someone because of 2 points. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'll be like, okay, he has 8 good stuff. You'll be like, okay, these 2 I cannot change. I accept it. Because you also, you have some things you cannot
Yeah,
change.
and that your spouse is accepting.
Yeah, and their
You
spouse is
know?
accepting, right?
Exactly.
So just like, okay, because for me, it's like if you see something on someone that you don't like, it means the same person has seen something on you that he doesn't like, right? But he
Yeah.
has just decided not to say it. Yeah, or he has just accepted. He's like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So that contract thing really works. You have to consult.
Yeah, it's all about consultation. Also have fun. You know, it's important.
It's very important.
It's important to enjoy. You know, like everybody. I don't know. Also, it's cultural, no? Like
Mhm.
before, I would say maybe during my grandparents' time, even during my parents' time, even though it wasn't an arranged marriage, but you know, these things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're forced to marry someone because
Situations.
situations.
Financial
Yeah,
situations. all
you're
of this kind.
forced.
It still happens even
Yeah.
now. It's like things happen.
Yeah, and then the person is like, "Oh yeah, like life is terrible when you're married," and it's not true.
No.
You know, like I mean, I'm not gonna talk for those people who actually suffer a lot in marriage and that have maybe not the best luck to find partners that are good. And I'm not only gonna talk about women. I'm also gonna talk about
It's both,
men.
right?
It's both.
Yeah.
But personally, my personal experience has been 1,000% improvement. You know, it's not that my life was terrible before. It was great. But like then I got married and it's like, wow, you know, like it's my happy place, you know?
Yeah.
And things can be hard outside, like stress, work, whatever. And then you come and it's like, wow, like this is peace, you know? Like I feel.
I mean, if you don't feel like that, then there's something wrong.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's not like, oh, I don't know. It's like it's not like that all the time, you know? But because both of us can be very stressful. Stress, you know?
I mean, it happens.
Or our energy is not, it's not the best, our 100%. But I come here and it's like, oh, okay, I'm with my husband. Like, things are gonna be okay.
Yeah, so I think people have different experience when it comes to marriages. And for me, it's just like, I won't say that I have bad experience in marriage now. In fact, I sleep more compared when I was, when I was single. Like I eat more.
Yes.
And I'm more happy if you ask the index, if people can check the index of happiness.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm more calm. Like,
Yes.
knowing that if something happens, there's someone else that I can go and start crying on. I'm like, oh, things are really bad. Can you help me out on this one?
Yes.
You know? So,
Yes.
for me, like, marriage should be source of happiness. It doesn't mean it's a smooth line or a straight line.
No.
There's ups and downs on everything. Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to pick your mind on is youth.
Youth.
Yes.
Okay.
So recently around the world, you've seen there's this how do you call it, uprising, if I can put on quotes, where youth are demanding more accountability. They're demanding more be involved in decision making, and like, for me, I'm looking at it and then I'm like, so what makes this youth, like, for example, I'm millennium. I don't know if maybe you're Gen Z. So
I think I'm zillennial.
in between.
I am in between. Some people say I am Gen Z. Some people say I'm a millennial, depending on the studies that they create. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was born at the end of the 90s, but not like super I'm 97. So,
Yeah, it makes sense. The same age with my wife. So you guys are in between.
yeah, like I would say we're influenced by both.
Yeah. So for me, it's like you can see this, the way things are changing, and youth are asking more change. They're asking to be involved in more decision making, politically, in terms of economically, in terms of all this kind of stuff. And then I'm just thinking, so some youth they decide to do riots. Some youth they kind of go in a way of having discussions and trying to influence, try to change the mindset of older generation. What do you think is the main key points that, if you're thinking about, if you're talking to youth, what are the main key points that you'd like them to think about? Like, for example, if you want to change, which is the best way to influence change?
It is a very complex question, because I personally think, one, it's a good thing that youth are starting to show interest in the affairs of the world, in the affairs of their communities, in the affairs of their countries. That means that they are concerned, no?
Yeah.
That they are concerned, and also they are conscious about the certain realities that they disagree with, and that they know that can be changed. Because if they thought that, oh, this can never change, then they wouldn't say anything.
No.
But they are starting to notice that there are things that they're not aligning. There's something that it's not right there.
I go back to example, the house is shaking.
Yes, exactly. And they're feeling it, they're noticing. And also they are conscious of the fact that this world is going to be their home
for a
longer period than the generations of people who are ruling the world right now. No? That I would say it's still the generation probably between our parents and our grandparents. No, like it's like, I would say that's the kind of like generation of people who are governing the world right now. And so they're noticing that this is happening is a good sign. It's a good sign, because that means that there's a will of change, and that it's possible.
Yes.
No, that means that probably some things will be accelerated. No, and it's not like, oh, we're gonna wait until we are governing the world to make the changes. It's like, no, actually we have to make it now, because we don't have much time, especially with climate change and all these things that are happening in the world that are crazy.
Yeah. But also there's also if you think in terms of education, like the percentage of youth who are learning right now is a little bit higher compared to our parents' time, right?
Yes.
So they're more informed. They're more they're more interested in their own life, and also technology has really made this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
to
definitely
be influenced by it. One of the example for me, I always think is, if you're in a country, like for example, a country that things are not working, health system is not working, education is not working, roads are not there, infrastructure, and you look on your mobile phone and you see your neighbor country, it's not even far, just your neighbor country here, health is working, infrastructure is there. That kind of thing influences, like, you come asking questions like, what's wrong with my country?
And
so it's like, so it's like, I want a better life. But also at the same time, I'm thinking like, maybe there's another solution to this kind of stuff, right? So maybe there's a better way of doing things. There's a better way of asking for accountability, instead of having riots, or instead of having people have to go through fights. There's a lot of corruption, it's true, but if society is being raised in a way that normal moral standards are not there, then it's possible for a breakdown, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And not every youth uprising is because of those kind of stuff. Maybe it's just moral, normal moral structure, society moral structure is not there, and it makes the society just to disintegrate a little bit faster than what we expected.
It's true. It's true. Like, one of the things that sometimes concerns me and worries me is like the growth of radical movements, for instance, where there are a lot of young people there. No?
Yes.
And it's because, I still consider myself very young, because I'm not even in my 30s.
You're very young.
That's
why I was like, you're Gen Z. You're in that
I'm
way.
not even in my 30s, but for me, it's very important to learn how to discern the type of information I decide it's true.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because the capacity to discern also gives you the capacity to recognize what's just and what's unfair.
True.
And also helps you to develop a critical thinking, to be like, oh, is it really true what these people are saying? Like being in a radical group that foments hate towards others. Is it actually just and fair? You know? And I would say that because there's so much information right now, there's so much access to information, but also there's access to many other different types of things, no?
Yes.
Like, and types of dogmatism. And if you're, for instance, living in a country where the political system is a little bit more totalitarian and there's dictatorships, for instance, or there's conflict, and you're drawn to into the army when you're very young, and they teach you that you have to hate certain populations and certain communities because, I don't know, the president doesn't like them, you know? It's very hard to say, oh, it's up to them to decide whether they want to stay or not, or whether this is fair or not, because if they've been brought into this spaces, it's very hard, no? But at the same time, I think that we as humans kind of like have an instinct, no, a natural. But this is also, again, my own thinking. Maybe also there's some studies about it, but I think we all have within ourselves some types of, like, even body reactions when we know that something is not right. You know, your body reacts to it.
Yes, is biologically they say like your body goes to a state of emergency.
Yeah.
So it kind of triggers safe mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So somehow, like, this capacity to discern what's good and bad should be there. No.
Yeah. True.
So that's important. Like, I think that's one of the best, like one of the things I would recommend. One is like, don't believe everything you see, don't believe everything you read. Have a critical thinking and also a critical mind, and be open to see different opinions and learn of different opinions, learn of different points of view, different realities, learn of history, because that's important. And then based on that, maybe you can decide, and also based on a moral standard, no? Like, taking in mind that human dignity is the most important. Human life it's very, very important. And also to see that humans having access to the rights is important. Yeah. No? And that's a base. Yeah. And if you see that someone is not doing that, someone is preventing people to receive that, or there is a conflict that's been created where you see that there's a lot of victims that are innocent, then for me the opinion and the position should be easy to have, no? Yeah. I think for I always think like what we don't really learn most of the time is just critical thinking. We can't really know how to differentiate, how to search, how to say, okay, how can I think critically concerning these issues? And if you lack that, then we just follow what's going on, right? For example, if you are influenced by social media, then whatever you see is what is in your mind, right? So it's very hard for you to say, well, what is the truth, what is not the truth? How do you investigate to know that what is going on is reality, even in your own country, and maybe in your own society, in your own community, what is true and what is not. Yeah. And it's just, for me, it's just, we don't know how the world will be in a few years, but the hope is just that the generation that is now uprising, trying to ask for accountability, trying to ask for better life for themselves and for the future, I hope things will go well. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. So with that, we don't end up destroying our own planet just because of things that we can solve through consultation or sitting down, or like what you said, not every once a year we have to fight. Yeah. in order to pay back, or someone did something wrong to you.
Rather than that, is just like, how do you come in as collective, as a society, and say, okay, the wrongs that people do, these are the penalties, and the good that people do, these are the rewards, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else you want to
definitely.
add?
No, I am just one thing that's very
Okay.
important
Yeah, okay.
is that now with all the information that we have, I feel it's important.
Mhm.
With all the information that we have, of course, we have to learn to discern,
Mhm.
but also assume our responsibility for our education.
Yes.
No, yeah, and not only criticize or think that the information that is given to us is right or wrong, but really be curious. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I really like curiosity as I don't know if it's a quality, a capacity. I don't know. Like people who are curious, I think they have something extra in them. You know, like it's like extra salt in a nice dish. You know,
Yeah.
it's important to be curious, and it's important to try to learn about things, you know, even
Yes.
if it's something that you actually don't know. Like probably the field that you're interested is in medicine, but why not learning about philosophy, or why not learning about mechanics,
Yeah.
or I don't know, you know, like this type of education. Like right now with all the access that we have, we need to assume also that responsibility, no, to be the owners of our own education. And this goes for also the people maybe who don't have access to formal education. No, just
Yes.
because they don't have access to formal education doesn't mean that they cannot be educated. No.
It's true. It's true. I think I'll finish by saying there's
Yes.
this guy who builds rockets.
Yeah.
He always says that humanity should always waking up. Every day you wake up, you should always be excited to know what tomorrow have.
Yeah.
So that's like curiosity. You always be like, okay, what's going on? And for him, he always says that the reason why he's building rockets, he just want to explore. He wants to know what is outside there.
Yeah.
So you have to be curious, right? So you have,
Yeah.
in order for you to grow. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you, Dennis.
I really appreciate
It was a
your
great conversation. I had fun.
I don't know how long was this.
I don't know.
but
I hope people listen though. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a nice
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, so thank you so much. We may not be able to cover everything that we wanted to cover, but
Yeah.
just this kind of conversation, I think, I hope someone listen to it and they learn one or two things.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dennis. It was
Okay.
great.
Okay, bye.
Bye.